Hi, I'm Joe Saunders with Miniature Landscape Hobbies, and in this episode, we're going to look at a tour of my games room and my terrain spread. Well over 50 videos ago, I put up a rather basic tour of my terrain spread for everybody to see. And this was sort of a landmark moment for me because it was the first Miniature Landscape Hobbies video. I didn't realize at the time how much popularity it would have, and thousands of views later and a lot of hours of watches, it's still one of my most popular videos, and I get comments on it all the time. But since then, I've added quite a bit to the spread, and my collection and involvement in the hobby of miniature building has grown substantially. So I thought by now I owed my viewers an update. So let's take a look. Hi everybody, so here's my game space. You'll have to forgive the mess, it's in my basement, but my spread goes down the center. We'll take a closer look at that in a minute. The spread is laid out on an old pool table. It's a bit of a family heirloom. It's been around for a while. Unfortunately, the pool table's been moved many times and has seen better days. It won't stay true, it's kind of warped, so we use it as a games table. Underneath, I've rigged up shelving to store my terrain. A couple shelves. Then, if you can see, each section is divided into 2x4, so 4 feet wide by 2 feet long, and they butt one up against the other. On the table, I can usually get up to 10 feet of play surface. However, at the moment, my son Mitchell and I are playing the really awesome Bagration Firestorm campaign, so we have our campaign map set up at one end. I've intentionally made it set up so that the sides are wider than the game surface, so you can set your cards or units besides the table when you're removing casualties. Back here I have some extra board sections. So as you can see, they are just on a plywood base. They can lie down one against the other. I've got more than I need. Let's see if I get my shadow out of the frame. So I've got a waterfront section. That's in my original video if you go back to it. I've got a river section here. I've got a couple river sections, and then just a plain section there with grid on it that can be used for anything. To the sides I have my shelves, so here are my army shelves. Just sort of my overflow near the top, other projects at the top. Germans, SS, Americans, Russians, they're currently in a lot of expansion, and British down below. On the other side, we have Team Yankee Americans. There's some models I built for the Battlefront launch for Team Yankee. Reference materials, projects that are still underway. More unboxed stuff. I've got my fledgling Finns there getting ready for Axis Allies, and my Soviet Team Yankee there. So those are on either side. I've got a cabinet with my rules, dice, etc. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a walk around the table. As I was saying, the table is modular, so it can be laid out lots of different ways. Just happen to have an 8-foot section set up now. We'll start at this end. This is my river terrain with 3 bridges. Simulate deeper rivers. When I built this, it was done as a video. No, sorry. When I built this, it was done as a article, and it's currently on Battlefront's website if you want to look it up. Table section, a couple homemade pieces of terrain, homemade buildings. There's the aircraft hangar there that was made for the West Germans launch. I just really like this piece, so I put it there, even though it's kind of a World War II spread, it's out of place. A couple buildings that I got from Battlefront to do articles for. That's their city ruins, and by all means, please check that product out. It is really, really good. A couple other buildings I built. I think these smaller brick buildings, there's an article on Breakthrough Assault, how I built those. And then we'll go into the countryside here. My roads and hills. There's one of my older wooden buildings with removable roofs. All my buildings have removable roofs, so you can play inside to play the city fight system. Also, you can see they're divided into rooms, so it's good for Battlefront city fight setup. Modular roads, I have a video on that. Modular hills. These hills you see here right now are on my Etsy store. This is my newest terrain creation, using the Ruined Church by Battlefront as a kit. I designed this. This is for Bagration Axis Allies, so it'll be featured on the launch date for that. Same here with my graveyards, also for the Axis Allies launch. It's a combination of scratch build and 3D print. Big forest section. Still moving around. More forest sections. These are all, of course, modular. You can move them around. They're scatter base. There is the V1 rocket build that I did. This sort of started it all with Battlefront. I did an article on a whim for them on it. It's been extremely popular, and it's really what got miniature landscape hobbies going when people started expressing interest in my terrain. I really appreciate everybody who showed their interest. Some more hills back into the city. There's a reverse view. So I've been collecting cars in roughly 15mm scale. They don't always scale up really well, but I like to have damaged and ruined vehicles on the board. There's my other church model. I think I'll probably put that on my Etsy store fairly soon. Don't think I'll keep that one. Just a couple pieces of service models. And lastly, my old graveyard. So that's being replaced by the current graveyard. That'll go up on my Etsy store. View of the water. This was done with glossy Mod Podge. So that's a quick look at my games table. Hopefully when COVID-19 lifts, we can have some more games on it. Right now, my son and I play Team Yankee and Flames of War on it probably 3 or 4 times a month, although it's been more recently because we've been fighting the Bagration campaign. So, thanks for watching. I really appreciate all my viewers. If you have not subscribed, please remember to subscribe. And as always, remember to keep building life in miniature.